Gary, how you doing?
All right, I was just checking it was working.
Oh, I get kicked out just before we came on.
Wow, what, you're in charge?
I know I'm supposed to be in charge and my whole thing just booted me out. It's obviously my computer saying we've had enough of this chat show. 24 weeks in, that's enough's enough.
Was there a moment of panic?
No, I had it all in control, Gary. All in control.
Good then, everyone. Welcome to week 24 of Paisley Community Chat Show. 24 weeks, Andy, stuck in the room.
24 weeks, Gary. It's flown by when you think about it. But
I know, but
we might be hunkering down for another 24 weeks. Can you put up with that, folks? That's the question.
I don't know. What I'll do, Andy, is I'll tell you when I come back from Blackpool. I'll let you know about it.
Are you going down to Blackpool to socially distance and watch the football, Gary? You've been told. The First Minister told you not to do that, Gary.
No, we're all after Blackpool. We've got the Big Dipper booked in the Blue Hotel, and I went in the Blue Hotel a few years ago, and Billy Ocean walked by the window. A random fact. You're sitting there.
Billy Ocean.
Billy Ocean. It's Billy Ocean. It wasn't the Billy the Sea. It was Billy Ocean. Unbelievable.
Hey, you get into my car.
No, red light spells danger.
When the going gets tough.
The stuff get going. Aye, you could
That's
go on
me
all night.
Exhausted all the songs that I know that Billy Ocean ever sung.
Aye, I couldn't believe it.
You know, suddenly.
Suddenly, my heart's bleeding too. That was Billy Ocean.
That was definitely the wrong
Stevie
lyric,
Wonder.
Gary. Good evening, folks. It's great to see you all.
Everyone.
I love the usual checking in.
Another quip. We need to get rid of him.
I know, Paul. When's Paul coming on the show? Have we booked him in yet? We've got to get Paul on in our Halloween special, because I know whatever he dresses up as, it'll be good. But I'm sure, just going by the state of the jokes that he's been coming up with over the past few weeks, that he'll have a couple of belters for Halloween.
Yeah, well, the folk will obviously be dressing up, and we hope they'll be dressing up, and we'll give you the link. Dressing up, on you come to the show. That's what that show's all about. I don't know what that means, Paul. If I took that personally, I would be mortally offended.
That's during the Kiss Me Quick hat down in Blackpool, Gary.
Don't want to make an ass of myself.
Oh, I see what you've done there.
Yeah. Well, my first holiday away with my pals, it was Blackpool.
Dear. I've been once. Didn't enjoy it.
No.
Not my kind of place.
I think it's a family thing for us, and it's Blackpool's got a lot of memories. It is a total dump, but it's got a lot of memories. It's got worse. As we went down as a family, we kind of went, "Oh, what are we doing here?"
Gary, how's your internet going tonight? You're a bit jiggity-jaggedy. I can hear you, but you're a bit kind of...
My internet's all right.
Doing all right?
My internet's all right. There's a net on. No headphones tonight, Annette, I'm afraid. Couldn't afford any of the pink ones.
Oh, I know. He's not there. We'll see him in a minute.
So it's an interesting time, Andy, seeing all the news and the numbers changing. I think the forecast of the numbers changing. Hopefully the undercurrent of the forecast is slightly lower. But it's not good. It's not good.
It's not great. We seem to be going in the wrong direction with the numbers and potential lockdowns. I noticed tonight, France, state of emergency, 8 cities going into lockdown.
Really?
We don't want that happening here, folks. We don't want that happening here.
We need to get the T-shirts. Don't be a tube. Don't be a tube.
Just come on.
But it's affecting all over, Andy, and it's not good. And I've got to say, in my usual "what have I noticed this week" slot,
right,
I've not noticed much, but I did notice. Remember that moon thing? It was in the window at the antique shop.
Oh, the first man on the moon.
The daily.
Somebody sold it, Gary. We should have been on commission for that.
I was walking by it, and funnily enough, I walked by Hamish's house, and remember early shows, as I used to cycle by Hamish's, I went, that's getting painted.
Aye.
I don't know what they painted it for, Andy. They painted it and just shut it.
Oh, well, they've not been closed because of lockdown. whatever went in there.
But it looked as if they were giving it a lick of paint to do it up, which is quite strange. So the antique shop is obviously straight across the road from it, and I thought, well, that was interesting. Andy's nipped in there and bought that first edition.
No, I've not bought it. I've not bought it, Gary. No, I've not. Somebody's beat me to it. I've not been out the house, Gary. But I tell you what's been a recurring theme is we get brilliant comments up on our Facebook feed, which is brilliant. And there's Leanna has mentioned that sometimes when we go out on YouTube or on Facebook, it puts up auto subtitles.
I know, I've seen that. I've watched some of it back. I've watched some of it back now and again. It's just, what's that one?
It's having trouble picking up the Scottish accent.
I know. 11.
11.
11.
Now, is a football getting played tonight, Gary?
Scotland's playing. Eddie's our football correspondent. He was at the St Mirren game the other week. Obviously, we're second in his priority list, but he was at the St Mirren game, and he's our football correspondent this evening. Scotland's winning 1-0. I think that says, Eddie.
Is it Scotland or is it Scotland? Scotland.
That's how it comes up in subtitles.
Scotland is up 1-0. Is that what we reckon?
Scotland. Talking about Big Tammy, but remember that show with Big Tam?
Scotland. We've not had Big Tam Sean on the show yet.
He's not been on. He's not been. I know he's a difficult character.
It was Councillor Eddie not going to chap somebody's door for us.
He did. He's still on the case. I'm waiting the call for that special show. That'll be a cracker if we get Eddie to do what he needs to do. No pressure, Eddie.
See how it goes. So
what have you noticed this week, Andy? I know you've been trying to take a bit of time off. Did you manage to do that?
No, really. I was kind of off today. So I'm decorating the hall. The hall is getting painted and decorated before Christmas. So that's a big project.
Are you decorating it with boughs of holly?
Well, that might come with the decorations when we put them up, but no, it's getting a coat of paint and a few bits and bobs done. But I was underneath my house the other day with the spiders and the cobwebs, and it was quite spooky. I was running some cables for my wall lights.
Oh, I thought it was a hobby.
A hobby? It is a hobby. I enjoy it.
You like your DIY, don't you, Andy? I mean, that's not something I'm very good at.
I like it, but it's time to get it done before Christmas. But do you know what, Gary? I've not been on social media much this week. And actually, I did watch a programme this week, or was it Friday, on Netflix, Social Dilemma.
Is it scary?
Well, if you use social media, folks, as we are all doing, and it's kind of ironic that we're broadcasting out here on social media and telling you be careful to use social media, but it's well worth a watch. Netflix Social Dilemma. And
it's called?
Yeah, the Social Dilemma, and it's by the folks who have worked at Instagram, have worked at Pinterest, have worked at Facebook, have worked at Twitter, and they basically tell you what they did, the algorithms that they created to make you completely addicted to it. Yeah, and also to create your own little echo chambers. So if you click on I like the flat earth, and then the next minute you go the moon landings are fake, and then the next minute anti-vaccine folk, then it's anti-mask, and you just fall down the rabbit hole because it's the algorithms that manipulate you.
Does it tell you about I was just thinking the other day about buying a 3-piece suite that might go into my back door, and up it comes.
And then the next minute you're getting ads for DFS sofas.
Aye. Does it tell you that what that's about?
That wasn't touched on, but I'm pretty sure if you read the T's and C's, you're given access to your microphone and your camera to Facebook and to Google and all these things.
It's bizarre though, isn't it? Isn't it? You go, I do know about time we get that painted yellow, and up comes yellow paint.
Big Brother is watching you, Gary. But so I've not really been on social media much. I was had a wee flick through some of the pages before I came on, but pictures of the old Argown. We grew up in Hunter Hill, so the old Argown Hotel. Silver Thread it was known, because we're going to be talking about music tonight and some events. And there was the old bungalow, which was, I guess, the Stag's Head, wasn't it?
Yeah, Renfrew Road. Yeah,
in Renfrew Road. But the Silver Threads Hotel, was that not a kind of historic location for some great bands that played in Paisley over the years?
Yeah, at the same time as the Bungalow, it's got a legacy of punk as well. And I can't remember what it was called. Was it Harry's Disco or something like that? Or Harry's, but downstairs, I think, in there. But they've got a history of folk music as well. Billy Connolly played in the old Silver Thread.
The Humble Bums, or was it just Billy Connolly?
All that sort of stuff. But it's a brilliant heritage in music and events in Paisley. I've been doing some research in the past wee while, Andy, as well, about the spree and mod stuff and everything that goes on in Paisley's music scene, and it's an absolute tragedy. The situation that we're in just now, that we've hopefully, fingers crossed, temporarily lost it, because some of the stuff I've been seeing in the videos and people's memories coming up. One coming up today from a friend of ours, Lynn, that was last year's mod stuff, and she danced from the door open to the door closed, and she said it's the best day she's ever had.
Aye, absolutely fantastic. You know, but it's taken a setback, Gary, but it will come back, and we're going to be speaking to some folk who are instrumental in making sure that when we can, we do, and we're back out there, back into the mix, and we're dancing till our hearts are content.
Aye. Hopefully, sooner than later, Andy, we'll talk to Pauline. So just to give you an idea of who's coming on, you'll probably know Pauline Allen from Renfrewshire Council. She's events operations manager. She runs the spree, she runs Halloween, all of that stuff. And there's Lynn. There's Lynn there. It's just talking about her.
There we go. There's Lynn putting a wee message.
Isn't that amazing? I was just talking about you there, Lynn, about your dancing. How impressed I was and how great that whole day was. And I know how much you loved it. I know how much we all loved it. It was a brilliant day. And of course, it was a special day for you and you and Edie. So we're going to talk to you and Edie about particularly mod stuff, but we've got other stuff we'll talk to you about as well. So it's a packed program, Andy. It really is a packed program. Hopefully we can give people a bit of hope that events, although we will be looking back on them, that they're coming again, and we should get prepared for them because they are going to come again.
Absolutely. Paisley has really built up a fantastic events calendar over the years. Be ashamed to see that not returning to full form when it can. So, well, listen, Gary, I think without further ado, we better get our first guest on.
And what's up with us tonight, Andy?
I don't know. Well, you seem to be a bit kind of max headroom tonight. Is anyone, if you're watching, does Gary look a bit more unusual?
I look a bit dodgy. No, it's just I was thinking we're on time.
We're on time?
And you've not had any tea?
I've not had my dinner tonight at all, Gary.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's go ahead with the show, though, because that's why we're here, and it's a guest
cup of tea. I had a cup of tea and a Kit Kat about 3 o'clock, I think. And I had
a Kit Kat.
I know.
That'll tip you over the edge.
Watch out, but I know what's for dinner tonight. Can't wait. Right, Gary, let's crack on then. Pauline Allen coming right up.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Pauline. You're live on Big Brother. Please do not swear.
I'll try my best.
Pauline, how are you?
I'm good. And don't take offence to this, but I'm a wee bit gutted to be sitting here talking to you because under normal circumstances, I would be in the Spiegel tent at this point in time. So I'm a wee bit gutted to be sitting here, to be honest.
And the feeling is mutual, Pauline, in the best possible way, because we know we would be right in the middle of the spree when we booked this slot for the chat show because this was spree week. And there was a hope that maybe we would have had some live events out in the street or whatever, but it's got a hold of us again, Pauline, and it's a real shame that the spree's not happened. And isn't it?
It really is. I mean, I joined the team when the spree just came up as a concept. It didn't even have a name at that point in time. So I've kind of been involved with the spree from more or less day one. So yeah. Started off, as you'll know, a 4-day festival, ran over a long weekend. And when that Spiegel tent first arrived, I had never been in a Spiegel tent. It was just, it was amazing. I just loved the full 4 days. It didn't want it to go. And then just it's obviously grown. We're now 10, 11 days, and it's just I just love the spree. Spree's like my wee baby. The events team all have something that's theirs, and I love the spree.
And when was the first year, Pauline? I'm trying to remember back.
It was 2012.
So
it was the year before they hosted the mod for the first time. Because it was like
okay. I can't remember the first year. Was the first year the one that what's his name from Aztec Camera was in the Abbey?
Roddy
Frame.
No, that wasn't the first year. Was that the second or the third year?
Was it second? Okay.
I'm trying to think if we had an Abbey show in the first year. I think it was just 4 days in the Spiegel tent in the first year.
Yeah. But as you say, it has built and grown, Pauline, to be expected and to be a staple in the town, and it's magnificent.
Aye. Now, Gary, before the show, you sent me stacks of photographs. Now, if I don't put up the right photograph, you're going to need to prompt me, because, folks, I've got all the levers here. I make everything work as best as I possibly can. But, Gary, if you're seeing that I've missed a picture, just give me a shout. And Pauline, likewise, just anything that you see that's that you need, just give me a shout on this one. But this is the logo, I guess, that we've got. Did I get that one right, Gary?
You've done no bad there, Andy, guessing that.
one out of one, but a lot of folk might not know. Well, maybe not a lot of folk, because the spree in the Spiegel tent has been quite a thing. And I was just going to say they might not know what the Spiegel tent is or what it looks like. But can you tell us a wee bit more about it, Pauline?
Yeah, the first year, obviously 2012, the first year we had the spree, brought the Spiegel tent in. So it's if you've not seen inside, it's absolutely gorgeous. It's wooden mirrors. There's drapes all inside it. The first year, I think it was a 200 capacity venue. I'm not sure where that picture's from. But last year
that's last year, Pauline.
Was that last year's one?
Yeah, that's a bigger tent.
That's what I was just going to say. Last year we were lucky enough to get a bigger tent and increase the capacity, and it really worked well. Some of the gigs we'd on, the snuts last year was just like something I'd never seen in the tent before. People up on people's shoulders, drinks going all over the place. It was a great night.
Well, some of the early sprees that would have been frowned upon.
Oh, it certainly would have been. No, you think back to the early spree. I always remember the cultural convener at the time coming up to me in the Monday kind of after the first year, and he said, "God, I can't believe that we've seen acts like," and the act he was particularly talking about was Francois and Atlas Mountains. And I don't know if you've ever seen any of them. They're kind of French indie pop band of African beat music. They're quite eclectic. You're quite niche, I would say.
Yeah.
He was totally blown away that they had appeared in Paisley on a Sunday night. So
I think the tent draws people. It's so different.
Think it's a carousel. We still get a lot of people coming up to the stewards that stand outside saying, "Is that a carousel? Is that a fun fair in there?"
Oh, they want a shot on it. Well, as I mentioned, Gary sent me a couple of pictures through, and that one that I showed you a little bit earlier on, you see it rammed with folk. You can quite clearly, see the energy and the fun that's there. But then during the day, it's slightly more sedate, and you've got all of this kind of calmness with the kids going on.
Yeah, that's a lovely programme. I've done the wee spree for a good number of years now. I can't remember when it first started, but we try and use this because the Spiegel tent was sitting there. We were only really programming from kind of late afternoon. It was the Danny Kyle show that would start at 5 o'clock, and that would really be the first show. So in recent years, we've brought in the wee spree and used it for Lego workshops and aerial performances and whatnot. There's been loads going on it.
I mean, it's deliberately picked the timing as well, Pauline, so that kids could get involved, isn't it?
Yeah, it's to coincide with. Initially, what it was to coincide with when we were going to host the mod in 2013, and it was going to act as a fringe, if you like, to the mod, which always runs in the October school week, and we've always kind of kept it that week since then. And it's certainly since the wee sprees come on board, I think we would always want to keep it then, because I think that's really built, and there's a good family audience there. We get people coming from obviously out with Renfrewshire, even just coming along to the kids shows, try and keep as much of that as free as possible for everybody to enjoy.
I know you know the demographics, looking at the numbers and the postcodes and stuff, but where's the furthest that anyone has came from that you know of?
I was looking at that earlier, actually. There was people from America came along. I can't remember what show it was for, but yeah, there's people from America.
Did they fly in deliberately? Just to fly in to go to the show, or was it just random, stumbled across it?
We don't get that info, so it's like postcode analysis we get. So I don't know their story as to why they were there, but yeah, it's a good claim for us.
Oh, absolutely. I know what it's like when you get someone turning up at one of your shows and they've travelled in from overseas. Just you go, wow.
Yeah, it's great. We love doing that, having a wee look at the postcode analysis. Oh, there's someone coming from whatever, Austria.
I'm going to put you in the spot, Pauline.
Ooh.
What's been your favourite ever gig that you've seen at the Spree?
Do you know what? I'm going to go for a really obvious one. Well, you'll probably think it's obvious, but the Paolo gig at the Abbey, I just absolutely loved that gig. We put a lot of, you'll have seen the Abbey gigs, and the Abbey's stunning as it is, but when you start putting in the lighting, and they just brought a higher production to the event. Some of the pictures from it are just absolutely stunning, but I was never, believe it or not, really a big Paolo fan, but after that gig, I just thought he was amazing.
He bought all his records, got his autograph, got a picture.
We never get invited to that one, Gary, did we?
I went in the ballot. And,
did you?
I'll get in the ballot and get nowhere.
Oh, you get nowhere? Oh, I think you had to go in the ballot. You had to go in the ballot.
Never even get sneaked in.
It was a charity gig, though. We had to give as many tickets as we could.
I know we can't.
Part of a charity. I could put my wee name in. Good, Gary, charity.
But the Abbey, the Abbey looks utterly fantastic when you get the right lighting in there, when you get the right event. It's been used, and I think the Abbey is it's a wonderful tourist attraction for people wanting to come into the town and actually see its rich heritage and history. But as an event gig location, it's hard to beat. It really is spectacular. It works for the certain types of gigs, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And I think just on that, having some of our local talent, we're able to support and go as the warm-up act for Paolo's show, and that's kind of happened throughout the Spree. So we had James Grant years ago did the Paisley Untold Story, and he had Jordan Stewart and Lisa Kowalski working with him alongside. So I think the Spree's been great for showcasing the talent that actually exists here in Renfrewshire, giving people a platform to perform next to these people. I was looking at Mandula and Hepzibah, Kodak Ghost. I was looking at their page, and they still talk about supporting Paolo. So
they're great, they two lasses. Fingers crossed we'll have them on in a couple of weeks.
They did for Digital Small Shop just in the summer there. They did a couple of tracks there, and they were really, really good as well.
Yeah, no, I seen them in the Swan. I think it was Spree for All, actually. As part of it. Andy.
Did I get that one right, Gary?
Flipping heck. Your production skills have just went through the roof.
Seamless. Absolutely seamless.
Oh, dear. It does look as if we've got this kind of planned. It does.
Oh, dear.
Andy, see when I talk about two lasses at the Swan, put that picture up.
Right. I kind of figured you were saying that, Gary, and I thought, oh, hold on a second, I've seen that picture.
But that day in there, their harmonies, Pauline, are just second to none. They're just so good.
They're fab, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. It's all right. So that's the obvious one out of the way. Apart from that, what's been your favourite?
Apart from that, I'm going to go back to the Abbey again. I loved the ones with the orchestra, any of the shows that the RSNO featured with. I liked Martha Reeves last year in the town hall. Thought she was good. I don't know what age she is, but people were commenting her age beforehand. But she was
Martha Reeves and the Vandellas, or was it just Martha Reeves with a different kind of backing troupe, or were the Vandellas there?
Yeah.
No, I remember one of my favourites, Pauline, was the one at the Abbey with Roddy Frame. We get in and we were up the stairs, looking straight down onto him, and he sang a song that night, and he introduced it. It was, I didn't know where he was going with it, but he introduced it with this mad Scottish guy who ended up in America, and he wears a kilt and a helmet and a big sword. And it was Jesse Ray. See, Jesse Ray wrote this song, and it was Inside Out by Odyssey, and he sang it acoustic guitar. Oh, it was just an amazing moment. I look back on it now and again, it's just absolutely stunning.
I went to, this is not Paisley, unfortunately, but it is Adamant. I went to see Adamant when he was doing his rounds again, and Jesse Ray was the warm-up. This was about 6 years ago at O2. Oh, he tanked. He absolutely tanked.
See, talking about Jesse Ray, sorry, Pauline, to digress ever so slightly. He played in Hamish's house a couple of years ago.
Was it good?
I don't know.
I
wouldn't go. Tommy was there. Tommy went up to him at the end. He still had all the gear on.
Oh, I know.
That's his thing.
Looks like William Wallace. Adamant was fantastic, but we've not had Adamant in Paisley, but we have had some. There was Mag saying James Grant and the Hallelujah strings in the Abbey were superb.
There's an interest, Pauline. You might not know about this. When James Grant was about to do his show at the Abbey, Lisa, who is still his agent, contacted me. Don't know why she thought of me. Says, you know James Grant? I've heard of James Grant. Could you give him a run round Paisley and talk to him about stuff? I ended up giving James Grant a tour of Paisley in my motor.
Oh, I didn't know Lisa had asked you to do that.
And he's like, I've got this gig coming up in the Abbey. Can you tell me some stuff? So I went, there's went round Fountain Gardens. We went up to the car park in the sky, and I said, this is a car park in the sky. It gets used for a lot of different things, James.
Say no more.
That was the time when we had announced the Untold Story, the strategy, the kind of precursor to the bid, and that was the name of his show that year, was James Grant, Paisley's Untold Story.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So I was doing a bit of research. I spent quite a good bit of time in the town before the show. So you must have been one of the people that he was told to pick the brains.
I picked me, but I don't think we went for a coffee. We just stoated about. I showed him the Gallagher Boat Club. It's not an official boat club, but it's really weird when you drive down Renfrew Road or Gallagher Road, and every other house has got a boat in it. It's the most.
Have they all been on Bullseye, Gary?
That's what he said. That's all these folk for Gallagher winning boats and the odd caravan. Here's what you could. All these folk good at darts.
They're all for good dart players, Gary.
I know. He didn't sing about the Gallagher Boat Club though. He said he was looking for inspiration, Pauline.
Oh, I didn't realise it was called the Gallagher Boat Club, or if that's maybe just a name that you've given it, Gary. It's pretty.
It's only me. It's only me.
Pauline, obviously, we're living in the midst of COVID right now, and the events agenda for Paisley has been kind of completely kicked to the side. I mean, for the spree and that being such an important kind of part in the calendar, it's pretty tough for yourself and the team, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's a tough time, but we're all supporting one another. The team have been working kind of non-stop since this started. They've been helping with the local assistance, telephone lines and neighbourhood hubs and social customer services. But I've been speaking to Gary, you'll know these people, Susan and Raymond and Jill, and the behind the scenes guys that actually make the event come to life. I've been talking to them this week.
Okay.
They're struggling. They're missing it. They're saying, "Oh, she's been in Paisley this week." So yeah, it's kind of tough. We're all supporting one another.
I was thinking of them as well. How tough it must be, because they're just synonymous with the spree. Yeah. You turn up and they're there. They don't even need to talk to you. Give you that kind of that look.
Is that Raymond you're talking about?
Aye. Oh, you're back again.
and I guess, Pauline, it's a case of saying, right, this one we have to write it off. 2021, focus our efforts, focus our attentions, and keep our fingers crossed that it all works out. Is that the plan?
Yeah, so I'm still working with Event Scotland. Event Scotland have set up an events advisory group who are lobbying the government and trying to find a way back. So yeah, I'm working pretty closely with them, and I'm writing just now papers and ideas down what an option A, B, or C, what might unfold next year. Obviously looking through the crystal ball, but 2021, had we had this year's event, 2021 would have been the 10th spree. So I'm hoping we can come back, and I don't know, need to check with our comms guys if we can call it the 10th anniversary or not, since we've missed a year. But hoping we can make it a good year next year.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what it's looking like, being honest. The start, the kind of first quarter of the year, I don't think there's going to be much, but I've still got very high hopes for the end of the year that we can put a programme back on.
Yeah, when would you start planning, Pauline? I know straight after the spree you're probably thinking, right, you're into some other events, but maybe in the back of your mind the spree's coming still.
Yeah, so we had already started working with people for Halloween and the spree for this year, so luckily the contracts can roll into next year, so we're kind of in the front foot if we can go ahead. We've got that in place, but we'll probably be going to a council board towards the end of this year to come up with, here's what we're thinking, and hopefully get the go ahead. Yeah,
fingers crossed for that. And I mean, what's the last announcement that get made? Is that Halloween not happening?
Everything through to the end of the year, Christmas lights, fireworks. Yeah, even Remembrance Day that we would normally, we've asked that people don't gather in groups. Obviously, private reflection is what we're recommending.
Well, fingers crossed that this passes soon, Pauline. We know it will pass, but fingers crossed it does pass soon. And it's been great having you on the show. Thanks for coming on and being so open and honest, and giving us your recollections and favourite moments. We're going to finish this slot with a lead into the next slot with a small video. And I know you take part in Mod Stuff every year as well. It's a cracking day. We're going to be talking about that next. So thanks very much, Pauline, for coming on the show. Appreciate it.
Yeah, Pauline, thanks so much. And ultimately, it goes without saying that, the trust in, the communities of Paisley will absolutely, as always, get right behind the events calendar as and when it goes live again. There's no doubt about that. We will be back bigger and better than before when it's safe to do so. So, Pauline, thanks so much for coming on the show, and we'll wish you all the best.
Thanks, Pauline. Thank you.
Cheers, Pauline. Cheers.
Bye.
There we go, Gary. I mean, it's difficult not to be disappointed, but you've just kind of, got to understand that things like Spiegel 10 and the Spree and Spree for All and all those great events and initiatives, they will be back. They will be back. Yeah,
100%, Andy, and the public will support them. And I think even if there was a call to arms, where the whole local community will all kind of gather around and make sure it all happens and it all works.
Yeah, because the events team at the council, they do work awful hard, and I think we've been spoiled. You think about the stuff that's been going on in Paisley, the big events that have been going on in Paisley, and obviously with Halloween and the Halloween festival just keeps getting better and better. Christmas lights is always a great event, but then things like Spree and stuff, we've been really fortunate to have all that for all ages. So it's been disappointing, but it'll come back. It'll come back, Gary.
It totally will, Andy. So lead into our next guest, and leading out of our last guest, to give you a bit of a flavour of what happens. And disappointingly, Mod Stuff in real life is cancelled this year. But we've got Mod Stuff coming up online on Saturday evening from the bungalow. So Mod Stuff would have been Saturday the 10th of the 10th, 2020. And just to give you a very short snippet of what Mod Stuff feels like, there's a short video we're going to show, a very short video of last year.
That's fantastic. I love that.
Isn't it?
Driving out with the scooters, that was fantastic, Gary, wasn't it?
Well, that's a long time in the planning to get to. That was year 7. This is going to be year 8, and to talk about year 8 and everything else that might come up in conversation, we've got Unide on.
Good evening. Good evening. How are you?
All right, Ewan, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks.
That's brilliant. Ewan, I was going to say, you'll not remember any of that wee snippet in that video, because that was last year's mod stuff. Because when that was happening, you were a busy man, weren't you?
I'd get married at 1 o'clock that afternoon, and then we came round to the tent and had the biggest and best wedding reception ever.
Oh,
well,
amazing.
I've got to say, Ewan, when that all was going on and the scooters and all that were coming down and the first band was on and everything was happening, and there was only a select few that you called into your confidence that this was happening, and you stoated in with Annette. Does he just get married?
Now, you might be a familiar face to Gary. We've just met for the first time this evening, but some folk who are tuned in tonight might not know who you are, so it'd be great to get a wee overview of who you are and what your connection is to mod stuff and the town.
Me, I'm nothing, to be honest with you. My connection with mod stuff was Gary contacted me back in 2012, with the 2012 into 13, with the idea of a wee play on the Gaelic mod that was happening in Paisley that year to see if there was anything we could put on. So lo and behold, we managed to throw something together at the Abbey. The bungalow. Unfortunately, I get called away to work in Spain. So I only arrived back on the morning of mod stuff. But our good friend John Fairley managed to pull another few bands together and made the very first year a brilliant success, and we've thrived on it from there.
Yeah, it's been an interesting journey, Ewan, and I remember the first mod stuff, and not actually on the day of mod stuff. One of my best memories was reading your blog after it that you put up in March of the Mods, and it was quite touching. You looking back on that day.
Yeah.
Do you remember that and writing that?
And
what some of the content was?
Yes, I do. I remember thinking about it at the time, about how we were doing this to promote Paisley, about how we were gathering people together in a community, and how it all worked. It was really good. It was a smashing day, Gary.
I remember some of your blogging. You actually said when you didn't know what to expect.
This is very true.
And you turned the corner into Shuttle Street, and to your real surprise and amazement, it was filled. It was filled with scooters.
Yeah.
And it was like, that's one of the pictures for that day, Ewan. To have Shuttle Street looking like that, it was such a spectacle.
Yeah.
I think you counted between 80 and 100 scooters that day.
We did, for something that basically we pulled together very, very short notice. It was really good.
Yeah, the first year was, it looked as if it was all seamless, but there was chaos behind the scenes. even at that moment, you and I remember that moment, and the traffic was still coming up the street, and I had to go out on the street, and I was like a traffic warden. The scooters were coming out. There was traffic coming in all directions, and it was just mad. But
the horns were peeping.
The horns were peeping, and you could smell the two-stroke, and you could smell the exhausts. You could hear the revving up. It was just so exciting. There were so many videos came out that day as well, Ewan. They were everywhere. It was so exciting. It was really good.
The mod stuff was something that I kind of stumbled on, I guess, through you, Gary. I was just blown away with it. It's such a fantastic event, and when you get down to see all the scooters when they park up round County Square, and you just look at the amount of effort and work that people have put into meticulously produce and maintain and keep these things, it's just fantastic. And then they do a ride out. It's just brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
As you know, Ewan, it's a way of life for these guys, isn't it?
Oh, it certainly is. Especially the guys that come in the scooters. It's breathtaking. It really is. They come to our wee town and their droves. I think the last one was over 150, if I remember rightly.
Well, it's like Celtic and Seville. The numbers keep going up.
Actually, we went down last year to watch the ride out, and I put it onto Facebook Live and kind of broadcast it, and it was just amazing to see folk who obviously weren't in the town. I've got folks that are overseas and stuff like that, just tuned in, watching, sending all the little love hearts, because it's such a fantastic spectacle. But yeah, 100, 120, 150, 200 scooters. What was it, Gary?
230, I think it was.
230, you.
260.
Oh. Of course, you were involved in it in the early days, and your involvement in raising money for charity, and your particular involvement and alignment with Teenage Cancer Trust is long-standing. How did you start to get involved in Teenage Cancer Trust in March of the Mods?
Well, actually through default. Somebody asked us to give them a hand with it and said, no problem at all. This was in 2012. Helped a guy go and look for a venue. It was an English guy that was married to a girl from Coatbridge. Went and helped him find the venue, all the rest of it. He buggered off down to London and said, I'll see you next week. And he's never been back since. So me and Annette took it on, and she's the backbone. Annette's the backbone. She really is. Without her, it would be nothing.
Yeah. And
I was just going to say, you've with Teenage Cancer Trust over the years, you must have raised quite a significant amount of money, Ewan.
Well, nationally, over 500,000, and from Scotland, probably over 75,000.
That's just tremendous.
And what we need to remember is, like, all the bands that play for us, we get guys travelling up from Essex, London, Newcastle, everywhere. They all come up for nothing. They pay their own way.
Yeah.
They pay their own digs. They get a beer and a sandwich at the gig, and we get guys come over from Northern Ireland as well. It's absolutely brilliant. It's fantastic. The love that people have got for the whole concept of March of the Mods is out of this world.
Yeah, and I know that you've bought into it, and it's a passion for you now. Can you tell us a bit about the charity itself, please?
The charity itself, they basically deal with young people from the age of 12 up to 24. It's not just teenagers; it's young people. Because when it was formed, the Teenage Cancer Trust, what happened after the age of 10, 11? And a young person had cancer. After that, they moved out of the kids' wards and they were put in an adult ward. There was no schools, there was no entertainment for them, there was nothing to do. They were basically sitting with other old people suffering. There was nothing to keep their imagination going, nothing to keep them ticking over. So the Teenage Cancer Trust was formed to give these people a chance while they were fighting this horrible disease.
Yeah, and of course, March of the Mods, it's well named. It's the whole of March. And,
yes.
And you and Annette run 2 events, don't you?
Yes, Glasgow and Paisley. Glasgow started off the first year in the Classic Grand, then we moved to the O2 up in Stocky Hall Street. Unfortunately, I get burnt down. So we're back home. We're back home in the Classic Grand again.
Yeah.
I've got a funny feeling the way things are going, we won't see it next year. I really don't know, because the capacities are going to have to be cut, etc. Fingers crossed it is. We would love it. Yeah. And then in the bungalow in Paisley as well. Is
that just your instinct, you, and you just get a feel that that's the way it's going to be?
That's my instinct. That's my instinct. As I say, from it starting off 7 months ago, March is only 5 months away now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I've got a funny feeling it won't go ahead.
It's strange to talk that way, Ewan, because we were planning in some gigs like now. We were even holding out that mod stuff might have happened on a smaller scale, maybe socially distanced, maybe on the street. maybe under a tent, that type of thing, and you start to reschedule your gigs that were earlier in the year for now, and you're now rescheduling gigs that you rescheduled for a rescheduled date. So the knock-on effect is staggering, and to actually think that we normal mortals in and around Paisley area are talking about global issues and how they're affecting us, it really is astounding.
Yeah, I mean, but you've got stuff lined up for 2020. You've got stuff that's taking place. Is it not, Gary? Ewan?
The bungalow.
We are on to talk about mod stuff this year. And we want to talk about mod stuff this year and it not being the same, and having something lined up. And of course, you're part of that this year.
And I'm so glad I was, because if it had been last week, we would have been in Mallorca.
I know. So your role in the Parliament of Owls, and I've never asked you, Ewan, what's that name all about?
Do you want the truth?
Aye. Is it clean?
Cleanish.
Is it after 9 o'clock? We're all right.
The three of us used to just go up, and we were never meant to be a band to go out and play gigs. And we used to say we were poo.
P-O-O.
Aye. And then Neil, the guitarist, he's got a fascination with owls. So from poo, we went to Parliament of Owls, and that was it. So
very good.
We were never meant to be a band. We were only just meant to be three guys having fun in the studio.
And you're still doing that, Ewan. And what's the set you've got like coming up at Mod Stuff next on Saturday?
Oh, we've got a wee bit of Mod Revival. We've got a wee bit of punky stuff in it. A wee bit indie. We've got a bit of Half Man, Half Biscuit. What else have we got?
Andy, that's your favourite band?
Half Man, Half. I like the Biscuit part. I like the Biscuit part. I'm not sure about the Half Man. Never into cannibalism.
No, so we've got quite a varied wee set. A bit eclectic.
Yeah, so you know a bit about Mod Stuff this year, having been first in the can, let's say. But can you tell us a bit more about Mod Stuff this year, and who's in the lineup and what's to be expected?
Well, we done my live set last Monday night. Thoroughly enjoyable. It was great. Quite funny doing a gig without a crowd.
Yeah, would be.
But apart from that, I mean, it's just I'm proud to be saying we're sharing the screen with really good friends of ours, the Absolute Jam and Dogtooth, and especially Dogtooth, because I've watched them progress from when they were wee boys up to mature men now, and I love them. I think they're great. I just hope at some point they're just going to get that wee break that they need. Just somebody's just going to be there at the right time for them, because they deserve it. The boys work hard and they're fantastic musicians. Yeah,
they do, Ian. I've worked with them for a number of years as well, and known them, having grown up and having supported some of our gigs, and they've grown up through Mod Stuff as well. You'll have noticed them through the early days in the Spiegel tent right through to the online version.
Yeah, great. And Johnny, Martin and Norman and the Absolute Jam, there's nothing I can say about them. You'll watch them on Saturday night and you'll make your own mind up. They're absolutely fantastic.
And excuse my ignorance, but what's the format for it? Are you playing somewhere and it's been streamed out, or are folk able to go and socially distance? What's the format for it, Ewan?
No, because of social distancing, we had to pre-record it.
Right.
So we recorded in the bungalow last week.
Right.
Absolute Jam were the following Wednesday, and Dogtooth have just done theirs. If I'm right, Gary, is that correct? Yep.
Both the guys were in. What day is this? Wednesday. Tuesday.
This is Wednesday, yep.
Aye. Everybody's done their bit now, Ewan. It's all getting spliced together. They asked me to get down and do a bit yesterday, so I've done my bit as well. So that Andy, just so you know, they're pulling it together onto just a long stream like a TV show.
Right, brilliant.
Ewan's band on first. I think there's a bit of Scooter in and out, bit of chat, Dogtooth on in the middle, and then Absolute Jam have got a headline more or less every gig that they play at, and an online one is no different.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say, Ewan, Absolute Jam, pound for pound, versus a band like just From the Jam, they're probably
superior. Far superior.
Aye. And From the Jam's got original Jam member in it.
Oh.
So you whisper that a wee bit, because
we won't talk about him.
don't want to get you into trouble now. So that's all kind of produced. It's been edited. It's all teed up, ready to go, and it's going to be streaming. Where are we able to? Do we buy tickets? Where are we able to watch it? What's the format for that?
It's over to you, Gary. It's going to be on the Bungalow page, if I'm correct.
Yeah, it'll be on the Bungalow page. We're streaming some stuff just now, Andy, at the moment, on the publicity through the Bungalow page and LNP Promotions page. But
Right.
As far as I'm aware, there'll be a link that will get put up, I think, tomorrow.
All right, okay.
Because of the Facebook policy, we can't put it live on Facebook just in case they pick up on any of the tunes and turn it off. So it's a link that will go on Facebook. You click on the link, and it takes you out to another platform.
Right.
So that'll be on. Everybody should be in the house on Saturday night, unless they're doing it at Blackpool with me and Billy Ocean. But we should all be in the house on Saturday night. Maybe some folk will be watching Britain's Got Talent, but I would implore everyone, turn it over to your Facebook, click on the link, and watch Ewan and his guys,
Brilliant,
Dogtooth and the Absolute Jam, bringing the house down for Mod Stuff Online 2020.
No, but Britain's Got Talent's finished now, so you've got a clear slot now.
Well, there you go.
Britain's Got Talent was finished years ago.
Sorry for you.
You're right, Ewan. And Ewan, I've got to say the whole format of Mod Stuff and March of the Mods and everything that you do, and the aspect of raising money for charity. This year's Mod Stuff's no different. Can you tell us a wee bit about what the charity aspect of Mod Stuff is this year, please?
I'll try and do it without crying, Gary.
Yes, I know.
This year's Mod Stuff's going to be in memory of our good friend Julie Maguire. Jerry's been a DJ at Mod Stuff since it first kicked off. Julie sadly passed away this year, leaving you and Emma, Conan and Jerry. But she's in everybody's thoughts. So at the moment, there's a Just Giving page for Marie Curie set up in Julie's name. It's got £3,950 on it. Let's see if by the end of Mod Stuff on Saturday we can get another 500 quid in that. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of money, and she's the most wonderful, beautiful girl that anybody that knows her will know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, absolutely, Ewan, and that's really nice of you to say that. And we know how difficult it is and how raw it still is, losing Julie. And so Mod Stuff, just to reinforce what Ewan has said, is dedicated to in honour and memory of Julie Maguire. And there's a Just Giving page exists, so that the whole point of Mod Stuff this year, not just to bring Mod Stuff and a bit of continuity, we're bringing the continuity of raising money for charity and in memory of Julie. So that link will be up all the way through that night, and we're expecting people to act as if they're going to a gig. That gig, Ewan, is at least a tenner in anybody's money.
Oh, easy. Easy. As I say, just even March of Mods, Julie was one of Annette's angels at Glasgow and Paisley, so she was with us from the beginning as well. So it's really, if we can get some money in on Saturday in Julie's memory, it'll be great. It'll be fantastic.
Yes, it will.
Also, as well, very, very quickly, give me 2 seconds.
Where are you going? He said he was busting for a pee.
Gary, have you got the link for that at all? I don't want to put the wrong one up. I want to make sure I get the right one up. So have you got the link for it?
See if you go on to LNP Promotions page, Andy, you get it on there.
Promotions on Facebook.
Very, 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 very quickly. We've got Lambretta Parker here. Retails at £100. We're going to raffle it, £2 a ticket. All the money will be going into Julie's memory.
How are you going to do that, Ewan?
Either email or PM myself and Annette, and we'll do it by PayPal, and then we'll just pull the names out once Saturday's over and done with, and we'll do it. We just threw this together. See, when I text you tonight,
aye,
that was us. We're like, right, let's pull that out and we'll get that done.
Right. You can drop me a message with the details on it. I'll put it on the events page.
Yep, fantastic. Right. I certainly will.
Okay, that's brilliant. Andy, did you find that link so that we can put that up?
I've got the link there. Jules, the legend, raising money in memory of Julie McGuire for the Marie Curie because we wanted to honour our beautiful wife and mother, Tommy McGrory. So I see his name there. So that's definitely the right one. So let me just do a wee bit of, because
we want to see folk. We want to see folk taking the money in and mod stuff. I mean, it's not a normal circumstance, of course, and it's not something that we would want to be doing. But that's the reason. So we're glad to be able to give you the platform tonight, Ewan, to say that, and we're all looking forward to mod stuff. Actually, it's completely different. Obviously, last year to finish on a positive note, and as positive note as possible. Last year was probably the best wedding reception that anyone could have went to.
It certainly was. We loved it.
And as I think I seen Annette comment earlier on, there was no sausage rolls.
No, there was not. But who needs sausage rolls when you're surrounded by so many beautiful people?
It wasn't amazing, and 500 people in that tent that night, Ewan.
Yep. Aye, it was absolutely amazing. It was brilliant.
Stunning. Best wedding I've been
to. And me.
Ewan, that's been fantastic tonight. I really appreciate you coming on the show and sharing all that with us. Look forward to Saturday. Drop me a note, or maybe hang round in the back while we're chatting when we're done. But in the meantime, Ewan, fantastic. Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Good luck. And, the target is, well, you're currently at 3,950. So 3,950. We'll put the link up later on, and we hope that everyone can at least, Gary, you were saying, if they're going to the gig, it's at least a tenner, isn't it? Let's see.
That's a tenner in gig.
Absolutely. Let's see as much as we possibly can add to that, Ewan. But it's been a pleasure to have you on the show, sir.
Even if folk can only afford £1 or £2, every £1, £2 counts.
Absolutely.
It does.
Absolutely, Ewan. Ewan, been a pleasure, sir. Thanks so much.
Andy, Gary, thanks for your time.
Thanks, Ewan. Cheers.
Bye-bye.
That's going to be good, Gary, on Saturday.
Yeah, as I was in the bungalow yesterday getting filmed for it, quite strange sitting on the stage of the bungalow and there's nobody there, and you're getting filmed to talk about a virtual event.
Yep,
which is coming up, but it's great. I mean, Dogtooth, Parliament of Owls, and Absolute Jam, 3 top bands.
Aye,
and I know, having spoken to Alan McEwen and Brick Lane Media, who's pulled the video together. So thanks to Alan for doing that, and really for being a catalyst for the whole thing. To be honest, it's going to look like a TV show, so it's going to be great.
Wow, I'm looking forward to it, Gary, and I think it's a good stopgap for this year. Ultimately, you're not able to be part of the spree and be in the Spiegel tent and do everything that you ought to be doing. Folk will miss that, but it sounds like it's a great stopgap. And I think this time is challenging everyone to come up with new and different ideas of still being able to, be artistic and engage with their audience and do all the sort of stuff that they want to do. So good luck with that, Gary. I hope everything goes well.
It'd be great. I mean, just to make sure that the link works, and we want everyone not to think that you just go onto Facebook and it's there. It's a link. You've got to click on the link, and it'll be really good. I'm looking forward to it. I know the guys are putting a lot of effort. The Jerry and the guys have been pulling all the tech stuff together. They've been working hard on it. Hopefully, it does everyone justice. I'm sure it will. And if we get the audience tuning in that normally turns up to mod stuff, We'll guarantee them a great night, and of course it's a bit of respite as well. It's a bit of respite for everyone and this whole crap that we're going through. And if you're not allowed out to the pub, go to Tesco's or whatever, get a couple of shandies in or a prosecco and sit and watch mod stuff.
Aye, let your hair down, Gary. Well, maybe no.
I'll be doing that. I know what you mean.
You sent me some. I mean, you sent me some brilliant photographs through, Gary, and I've not got to them all, but this is obviously stuff that's been going on in the Spiegel tent. It's not all necessarily kind of mod stuff related, but you've had some fantastic.
Yeah, I think that one you showed before there, Andy, was the Jerry Rafferty showcase.
Aye.
The guy on the right was Jerry's mate, a guy called Rab Noakes.
Right.
There's one, I don't know if you showed it. It was a Mod Stuff Award. It's got that one there.
That one there.
And that one there, I took you in and it was surprised that day because the past couple of years we've done a memorial award for Sheena and what's that other guy? I can't remember. It was Andy Irvin's mum and dad. Andy sadly passed away in a scooter accident.
Right.
And we've put a memorial award up every year in honour of a person or persons who have made such an impact locally, nationally, in and around the mod scene. And it's for the past 2 years, it's me that's picked it.
Yep.
And this year, I was one of the few that knew that you and Annette were getting married. They phoned me about 6 months before and said, "Look, I've got something to tell you."
Aye.
I'm like,
we'll let you in a secret.
I'll let you in a secret, but you can't tell Andy. And they turned up that day and they were as surprised as anyone when I shouted them up onto the stage to get the reward. To be honest, it was such a wonderful day. It really was great.
Aye, no, it's fantastic. I mean, some of those pictures there, and it's with equal joy that you see these and sadness that you just can't be part of it. There's these guys. I love the guy on the right hand side there. He's absolutely living his best life right there.
He's having a ball.
Of course, it's the scooters that just look I mean, they, as you say, they smell fantastic. That 2-stroke engine fuel that you can smell, the noise from them. And you know what I also love, Gary, is the class that they all have and what they wear. They are all impeccably dressed. They've got such wonderful taste, the best of clothes, everything's all matching, beautiful shoes, suits, their hair's meticulous. These folks absolutely know how to carry themselves off, don't they?
Yeah, and I've got to say, over the years, as I've got to know a good bunch of them, they're amongst the best people I've ever met in my life. And I think it's fair to say they've embraced mod stuff and they've made mod stuff their event now. It's one of the best events that people look forward to, and I know that it's not an effort for these guys to dress the way they dress, Andy, and that's how they live their life. And
absolutely,
I aspire to that. I know I'm not a mod. It's not my background. But I do aspire to it. I'd love to be able to be turned out in some of the brilliant suits and the gear that they wear. And to be fair, they absolute jam when they're on stage now and again, depending on what mood they're in or what set they're about to play. They'll turn up with the gear on and the mod shoes and the jam shoes and all the gear.
Yeah.
It's brilliant to see.
And you see in the Spiegel tent, I've been in once or twice, and again, everybody's impeccably dressed. And obviously the musical varies, so you'll do a little bit of kind of Northern Soul stuff and things like that as well. And, these people, they know all the moves, the dances, they absolutely just have it carried off. It's everybody's so smartly turned out. Paisley is so lucky that we've got these people, and we've got people who, like you and like yourselves and various others that get behind making these things happen in the town. We're so thankful for it. I'm just, you want it to be back. 2020.
You want it to be back. You want it to be back. Yeah, and as Pauline was saying earlier, and you were saying to Pauline, we will support those events.
100%.
And I think that the sign of a good event is when there's collaboration there, Andy. And I've got to admit, mod stuff is one of those. If you wrote everything down about who works on that and collaborates on that event, it's a charity, community, it's council, it's events team in the background, everything coming together to that day to make it look and feel like you just turn it on and it runs.
Aye.
And it's brilliant to be involved in it. And the events team at the council have been fantastic with us, giving us that space and facilitating mod stuff every year.
And I'm guessing it's pretty unique, isn't it? You can imagine somewhere like Brighton doing a kind of mod stuff type thing, but I would imagine, you know, mod stuff's a Paisley thing. It's not, doesn't happen elsewhere, to your knowledge.
Well, mod stuff that is the brand that we've been fortunate enough has been accepted in the mod scene and is synonymous now with Paisley.
Yeah.
But I didn't know this when I first started out with this. I contacted my pal Jerry Maguire. I was at school with Jerry, and I bought my first parka off Jerry. I stayed in for a few weeks, saved up a tenner, and bought a parka, a trench coat. Because at the time, Jerry was a mod and had a big green army trench coat. Yeah. And I thought that looks ultra cool. I want one of them. And Vienna come on, top of pops, and Midge was there with a big trench coat. I said to Jerry, I want that trench coat. Midge has got a trench coat. He says, I'll sell you it for a tenner. Aye, all right. Stayed in for a few weeks and bought my trench coat after Jerry. Anyway, that's a slight aside. So Jerry gave us a lot of advice, and he actually said, you don't really know what you're getting yourself into.
Aye.
This is a whole scene.
Yeah,
it's not just a gig now and again. This is a scene. This is a group of people that take this really, really seriously, and you need to be aware of that and up your game related to that and be respectful of that.
Yeah.
So I think to be fair, we've over the years we've learned a hell of a lot, and we've managed that. I think mod stuff has the respect of that scene now. Yeah. I was speaking to Jerry the other day, and he was saying it's one of the most looked after look forward to events in the calendar. And talking to Ewan last year about it, he says it's now established, and it's not my event, it's not LNP Promotions event, it's now Paisley's event.
It's Paisley's event.
I know, and fingers crossed it continues, and next year events like that, Andy, and the spree have got to happen next year.
Aye, they will, absolutely. I know, it's fantastic. We're so lucky to have it, and as I say, you go out in the town that night and everybody is just so well dressed. It's just and having a good time. There's no barneys. It's all good, clean. It's been great. I've learned that. I mean, I've learned a whole lot of stuff tonight. It's been, you know, obviously we know what goes on in the town with regards to the events, but you know, I was the wrong age, Gary, for a mod. My brother, he was into the mod scene. He liked Jam and his Kinks and his Who and all that sort of stuff. I can't ever remember him having the big green jacket. I think he went for the boating blazer, which was the thing to have, the boating blazer with the waffle trousers. You know, again, you know, dapper, always looked after his fashion. I was just that kind of age group, you know, underneath, growing up in the 80s, Gary. But it's been such a brilliant night. Just I've enjoyed being part of the audience, to be quite honest. It's been brilliant.
Well, I have, to be fair, Andy, I've learned a hell of a lot in the journey that we went on with mod stuff, and as I said, met the most brilliant people. As Lynn was on earlier, I met Lynn last year at mod stuff, and honestly, she danced from start to finish, and everybody was looking at her. Everyone is she in Duracell batteries, because she just danced all night and the smile on her face. But that's what events like mod stuff do for people.
Great music, great people.
It took her out of herself, and when we know that, I haven't spoken to her since, it took her out of herself, and she was in a different place. And it's just fantastic. I'm gutted it's not happening this year. But looking forward to Saturday, Andy.
To everybody that's involved, I'll be tuning in. I'll be making sure that we tune in, and we'll get the link up to the Just Giving page as well. But that's my Saturday night sorted. I'm looking forward to that, Gary. So good luck to everyone that's involved, and if you're tuning in and watching, I hope you enjoy it. It's going to be a great night by the sounds of things. And thanks again to everybody that's tuned in tonight. We've had so many comments on, as always. Too many to put up. Most of them have been clean, which is quite good, but too many of them, apart from Paul Stewart, some of his are.
I'm ignoring him now.
I know. But no, it's been great. And actually, one thing that I've noticed, Gary, is Paisley Community Trust have been getting a lot of likes to our Facebook page. So we're delighted to see that, folk. I mean, we just do a thing each Wednesday night, keeping out of trouble right now whilst this COVID situation continues. But if you've been able to enjoy what you hear and you like our page and you like our cause of what we're trying to do for the town, it's fantastic to see that also. So thank you as always for the support that we get from you all.
Yeah, it's great to bring the show to you every Wednesday, and I hope you enjoy it. And as we say every week, it's the guests that make this show.
It's a guest. And talking of guests, Gary, who's on next week?
No, we don't want to. We don't know.
It's a secret. It's a secret. We do know, however, right? So there'll be a show next week, folks, and
there will be.
Gary will figure something out, as he always does. But we've also got. Don't forget, we've got our Halloween special. I'm getting quite excited for our Halloween special, Gary. I know what I'm getting dressed up as.
So they are.
Do you? I'm keeping it secret though. I'm not telling MD.
I'm not telling MD either. It's because it's a surprise.
It's a surprise. So, folks, just as a quick reminder that October the 28th, Wednesday the 28th of October, is our Halloween special. We're going to be dressed up. If you want on the show and would like to see you on the show, you've got to be dressed up. Send up pictures. We'll get them on the screen as best we can. So that'll be fantastic. And we're also going to have jokes, because when you're out guising and round champing the doors, you've got to tell some dodgy jokes. So if you've got dodgy jokes and you want to do your Halloween piece, then we'd like to see you on the show as well.
Have we given out nuts?
There'll be stacks of virtual monkey nuts, Gary. Hundreds of them.
Okay. And we'll be looking for apples.
We'll be virtual looking for apples, and also we'll be telling ghost stories, because we've got a couple of guests who will be able to tell us some famous or maybe some infamous spooky ghost stories about Paisley. So we're looking forward to that as well, Gary.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a cracking show, but I need to get my act together for next week now, Andy.
We'll need to. Well, the Halloween special will take care of itself. But
why don't we have a reflecting on what stuff we can make it really easy for me?
Well, we'll figure it out. We'll chat tomorrow, Gary. We'll something out.
We'll get some. In the meantime, our time's up for this evening. It's been a fantastic show again. Thanks to our guests, you and Edie and Pauline Allen from the council. If we've nothing else to say, Andy, it's good night for me. Thanks, everyone.
Good night, folks. See you later.
Good night. Good night.